everyone, Paula here. Welcome to my Crafty Corner. So today I thought I would do my first ever WIP and Chat, just to let you know a little bit about myself and when my crafting journey started. Now I'm lying up on my sofa recliner. That's how I diamond paint, because I find it a lot more comfortable for myself with my tilted tray and my iPad. So I'm working on, first off, Sea Queen. You can see the sparkle on that already with those silver crystals in it and the grey ABs. I don't diamond paint by section. I just do not like doing sections. All that changing out your tray every 2 seconds, can't be doing with that at all. So I diamond paint by colour. So I'm using, well, this is just one of those wee cheapy pens you get from the budget companies, but I have the metal tips on it. I always prefer to use the angle tip, and I have my 6-placer, and my tray is it's a Diamond Art Club, one of their, from their pastel rainbow set. You get 7 in the pack. But we'll get started. Well, if you don't already know, I'm from Northern Ireland. I live in County Armagh, which is also known as the Orchard County, because there's an awful lot of apple orchards in County Armagh, and they're used quite a lot in cider and different things. But I am medically retired this past, I would say, 10, is it just over 10 years now? I was a senior healthcare assistant. I worked in a facility for patients with Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, it was very hard work, but I always enjoyed it. I really did. When they got me medically retired, I really did take it bad. Really did, because I was only in my late 30s, and to get me medically retired at that age, I just, at the start, I didn't accept it too well. But as they say, you have to. It is what it is, and you have to get on with things. So I I was first diagnosed with a thyroid problem, and after that, I got on medication for it, and after that I started struggling quite badly with exhaustion, and I've always had pains in my lower back, hip, from I was in my 20s, but it just started getting worse and worse, and it was finding it hard to cope, because it was such a very physically as well as mentally hard job. I was really struggling to get through the 12-hour shifts. So eventually I got put out into the sick, and the first time I was out, I think it was about 4 months, and then I went back again, and I still couldn't. I was really struggling to get through the day, so I got put out in the sick again. This time it was for 6 months. So eventually came back, and I decided, rather than do what I was still doing on the floor, they put me in down in the kitchen in the place. I had to give up my senior position, but I thought, it was a bit of a blow as I'd worked myself up to the senior, but at the same time I still wanted to be able to work, so I thought maybe with the lighter load down in the kitchen that, you know, it would help me. But it was okay for a little while. I was coping with the pain and the exhaustion and all the other symptoms I had at the time, but then again it all got too much. So to cut a long story short, I ended up this time being out for near enough a year, and my work then sent me to occupational health, and I got it assessed by the consultant, and because of all my symptoms and what have you, he said that it would be best, you know, he recommended medical retirement. He says I wouldn't be able to cope and I would only get worse in the long term. So that's what happened. I got made medically retired, and as I say, I took it so bad at the time. I remember crying my eyes out, but as I say, you get over it, you learn to accept, you know, your limitations and that. But I was diagnosed after the thyroid problem. I was diagnosed with lupus and fibromyalgia. I'm also an asthmatic and I have a few other problems, but as I say, over the years I've just got a lot worse. Particularly my mobility has got really bad. Now I can sort of dotter about in the house, you know, on my good days with my crutches or my stick, but if I have to go out, I have a 4-wheel rollator with a seat on it, so I can sit down if need be. But as I say, I can't walk very far at all, and for a good while there, as my mobility got worse, I was getting more and more stuck in the house, not because I couldn't go out. And when that happened, all the friends that I had from work, as well, I would have classed them as good friends, but apparently not, because over the next few years, because I couldn't go out and do all the things that I used to be able to do with them, even going for walks and going shopping, I couldn't really, as I couldn't walk that far. Contact just all started, the phone calls stopped, and then the next thing, the text messages were few and far between, and then when COVID hit, that was that. So much for having good friends. But as my hubby says, if there had been any sort of friends at the start, they would have kept in touch. But anyhow, I have one good friend, well, that we've been friends since school. She actually comes in every month, and she takes me out for breakfast somewhere, or as I live beside the local lakes down here, she would come, and I have a mobility scooter. We would go out for walks round there. There's a little cafe down at the leisure centre there, so we would go round there. But my bestest friend of 30, we met when we were 17 and I'm now 51. So this past few years, contacts got less and less, and she has now got new friends and new family, as she calls them now, and well, I was never invited out anywhere. So as I say, so much for friends. I have actually made some good friends online, especially from this, since I started diamond painting and met people through this community. I've met some lovely, lovely people, and we have become friends. And even though, like, I live over here in Northern Ireland, and most of the people I've met is from United States, but still, they have been so good checking in on me, and more so than my so-called real life friends. But no matter. My crafting journey started. It was, well, it was a year after I got made medically retired. My school friend, she happened to be into making jewellery at the time. So she took me out one day to like a local bead shop, and because she was looking some supplies, so I actually bought 2 bracelet kits. Thought I'll give it a go. Like, I was never really a crafty person before this. The only thing that I really enjoyed doing when I was at work, I love reading, still do, but that was more of a hobby for me than I never done any sort of craft before. I did do baking. I used to enjoy making different pies and cakes and things like that. I don't do that now because, well, the odd time I have a shake in my hand at times, and I have burnt myself a couple of times, so I don't do that anymore. But as I say, I bought myself 2 bracelet, just easy, the stretchy bracelets. So I made those, and actually found it quite relaxing, and I enjoyed it. So I went online. It was eBay and Amazon, them types of places, and I started buying myself more kits. And I went onto YouTube and watched videos and taught myself how to make the bracelets and the necklaces with the clasps, and then I started making earrings and things, and I was giving them away to family and friends as gifts. And then it was my friend, she actually suggested one day, well, why don't you sell some of them? So I actually set up a Facebook page for my jewellery, called it Paula's Sparkles. Very original, but I actually done really well with making the jewellery and selling it. I used to do a lot of craft fairs and stuff, and I did do really well. But then my hands started getting really bad, and I couldn't, because my shake got quite bad at one stage, and my hands kept breaking out. I stopped the jewellery making for a while. Well, I had no other choice, so I stopped that for a while, and then I think it wasn't until 6 months later that I was able to take it back up again. But it sort of, well, I did sell a few more things after that, but as I say, it was getting harder and harder with my hands. The wire jewellery I couldn't make anymore because I just didn't have the strength in my hands, and it was too sore when I went, so I gave that up. I always did quite well with making, like, First Holy Communion bracelets and sets, and eventually I gave up doing the craft fairs as well. So then I thought, well, what other sort of craft could I do? And I got, as a gift, one year I got what do you call those? Rag wreath kit. If you don't know what a rag wreath is, it's like it comes with a round or a heart shape round. It's like a wire and it's round in shape, and you get strips of just any types of material you want, and you cut them into, as I say, little strips, and you tie them round the wire, round the wire frame. So I started doing that, and I really enjoyed that. Although my strips, with my shake, I can't cut straight to save my life. But with the rag wreath, it doesn't matter whether they're straight or not. It still has the same effect when you get it all done. They actually look well when they're all done up. And I used to put little plaques in the middle of them, like all different signs or whatever, and actually started selling them as well, and they did well for buy. Now, I didn't find diamond painting like most people during COVID. It was actually before, it was the February, it was actually before the lockdown started. I'd been round visiting my mother-in-law, and she was actually doing a special shape diamond painting, and she had a few of them, and I was looking through them, and I thought, no, it might be something that I would enjoy. So I went and I had a look on Amazon. So I bought my first kit through it. It was actually, I started off doing the special drill paintings, and I find that I really enjoyed it, and it didn't matter, you know, my hand gets really bad at a time. It didn't matter about my shake, because you can always put them back, you know, you can always push them back into place. But I found that I really enjoyed it. And then I came across the first company, licensed company that I came across was Crafty. It's a UK company. They call it Crystal Art. Not what to do there. But it's all the same thing. But as I say, I started buying some of their kits, and well, I just got really hooked on it. I started doing more full drill. I started with a wee 30 by 30. I've done a few of those, and as I say, it's very relaxing. I find a great distraction, no matter how much pain I'm in or if I'm tired or whatever. I can just sit here and start diamond painting, and I have my tablet. Well, you can't really see there. I have my tablet beside me, so I just sit and watch YouTube, or I sit and listen to Audible, and it just takes my mind off things. So I would sit in the evenings, I would diamond paint, and my hubby would be off over there in his corner playing his PlayStation. But as I say, I really enjoyed it, and then I started moving up to the 30 by 40s, and then up, and then I find, well, most of us probably started off with all the Amazon, eBay, like Wish, AliExpress, all that there. I mean, I didn't know about licensed artwork and all that when I first started. And then when I found companies like Dreamer Designs, Craft Buddy, Diamond Art Club, all those, I realised. So now I still do buy diamond paintings from the budget companies, but as I say, I do my diligence, and if it looks to me like it's artwork, I will do like a reverse Google search, or if I'm not sure, I would stay clear. But then I think it was 2 years ago maybe, I started to make the artificial flowers and the wreaths. Again, I get all my kits from Craft Buddy have a range called Forever Flowers, and they give you everything you need in the kits, not only to make the flowers but to make wreath kits, or they do one where you get the wee vases and you can make a vase full of flowers and things like that. So I started making them. Now their kits, the flowers come all, the petals come pre-cut, so you get absolutely everything you need to make the flowers. Like, I thought I'll not be able to do this, but as I say, they give you absolutely everything, give you the instructions, and it's actually quite easy to do, to make the wee flowers up. So I've made quite a few wreaths. Now, a few people had asked me that Christmas would I make them, the wreaths for the graves for the Christmas. So I actually done a few of those and sold those around Christmas time, so I did quite well with that as well. Now, I haven't, Christmas past, I had stopped it because I hadn't been too well, but I think upstairs I have made myself a wreath for every season to put on the front door. But it's another craft I enjoy, so that's basically my crafting journey and how it all began. As I say, well, my hubby, every time he looks into my craft room, he just stands there and shakes his head. And he's all, what are you going to do with all this? As I say, well, keeps me happy, keeps me distracted. So I says, you have your PlayStation over there, you're gaming, and I have my crafts, so it keeps me happy. So if I'm happy, he's happy. We have been, we'll be married this year. In the end of September, we'll be married 20 years. Goodness, 20 years already. Now, I was lucky enough, my mum, around the time that we got married, my mum was dealing with cancer. Now, she had 10 years before that, she had breast cancer when she was 49, but she got over that and she got the all clear, and it was 10 years later she started feeling unwell, and when she went to the doctors, she was diagnosed with bronchitis, but because of Mum's history, her doctor thought, we'll just send you down to the Action Cancer place down in Belfast just for a check. So after a routine scans and check, it come back that she had cancer in her lungs, which was another big shock to us all. But as I say, we got married in 2005, and Mum was, well, it was about a year after she was diagnosed, but I am so thankful that she was able to get to our wedding. Now, we were going to put it off to the next year, and hubby and I always said we would have liked to have went away to get married, but Mum always had this, that she wanted to see my daddy walk me down the aisle, being the only daughter. It's just me and my brother. So we brought the wedding forward, and lucky enough she got to be there, which I was so thankful for. I always remember the morning of the wedding, standing in the bathroom back at home. I was standing in my wedding dress, and Mummy, well, she was dressed and all, and we were in the bathroom, and she was wearing a wig at the time because she'd lost her hair, and she was trying to brush the wig the hair one way and I was trying to put it the other way, and the two of us were standing laughing. I always remember that. But as I say, we were lucky enough she got to our wedding, and she stayed right till the very, very end. And that was the 29th of September, but she passed away then on the 16th of January. But as I say, I was so happy she got to be at our wedding, and she actually she was very fond of my hubby, and she knew that he was going to look after me and make me happy. So I was thankful for that. I'm gonna get a little drink of my Coke. I don't normally talk this long, but 25 minutes, goodness. We also recently lost our little fur baby, Alfie. He was 14. He had just actually turned 14 on the 2nd of June, yeah. But he was living with his past 3 years, I think it was, with a grade 4 heart murmur. Now he was doing sort of okay, you know, he had his off days. Alfie sort of had digestive issues from he was little, and every now and then he would have a bad belly, but after a few hours he was right as rain again. Now he was 14, so he slowed away down. But the two of us, from I got my mobility scooter, it's been a godsend to me, because it sort of gave me my freedom back. I was able to get out of the house myself. I was able to take myself from our house down round the lakes. I was able to go to my daddy's whenever I wanted. I was able to go take myself out to the shops if I wanted. It really did give me a great lift. But I used to take Alfie. He could only walk so far. He would walk from our house here right down to the lakes, which took us about maybe 15 minutes. And then as soon as I saw him getting out of puff, I would lift him up and sat him on my knee on my scooter, and he absolutely loved it. And even people walking past would always stop to say hello to him and smile at him, and he just loved it. But as I say, he sort of took ill sort of real quickly. The Thursday morning, him and I had been out at Tesco's. I used to take him shopping with me as well, and he loved it. But the two of us had been out in Tesco's, and he was just his usual self. But that afternoon, his breathing became more laboured, and I was getting quite concerned about him. So my hubby came home from his work, and we took him to the vets, and they discovered that there was fluid building up on his lungs. Now we had another fur baby, Charlie. He was a Cavalier, and he passed away with chronic heart failure. Now his lungs were filling up with fluid too, and so we sort of knew with Alfie that's the way it would go. Charlie passed away back in 2017. My hubby got me Charlie after my mum passed away, because hubby and I could never have children. We weren't blessed enough to be able to have kids, but so Charlie and Alfie were they're our fur babies. But as I say, while examining Alfie, the vet also discovered like a little lump. So they wanted to do like a CT scan on him and an x-ray. So we left him there at the vet's and they did the scan, and then an hour later they phoned us back and said that they had discovered a mass on his spleen that if it ruptured it would cause him a very painful death. But anyhow, we brought him home, and over the next few days he just started to deteriorate, and we didn't want to see him suffer, so he passed away that Saturday morning with the two of us by his side. So I mean, the two of us were heartbroken. I mean, we still are. It's real strange now in the house, because when hubby's at work I'm here on my own. I haven't been on my own in the house in 14 years. Well, even before that, because I had Charlie. So it's just real strange not to have my little shadow beside me. But now there was a girl that I used to work with, Gemma. She actually reached out to me there last week after to say about, she was sorry to hear about Charlie, or Charlie, Alfie, my head's away. And she said her two little miniature Jack Russells, which Alfie was, had pups, and if we wanted to open our hearts to another little one, you know, we could go around any time and meet them. She had, now we only ever have male dogs, so she had two male ones left. So hubby thought that, well, if it might help distract us a little bit from Alfie having a new wee pup to train, and he thought that I needed the company in the house. So she sent us photos of the two males, and there was one of them in particular that the both of us were drawn to, but we will see over the next few weeks how it goes. Now they wouldn't be ready to go, they're only turning 5 weeks, so we'll see. But the two of us just miss Alfie so much. It's just strange not having him here. But anyhow, I think I have, what is it, half an hour? I think I have waffled on enough now. So I hope you have got, well, to know me a little bit better. As I say, I never ever thought that I would start my own channel, but it was a way back, you know, it was a February, March time. I just started posting little shorts just of videos of down at the lakes, Alfie and I. And then a few people sort of give me the encouragement, well, why don't you start posting videos and making or starting your own channel? So I thought it over, and it's actually because I'm not a very confident person, even more so when I got made medically retired. Now that I'm chronically ill, I just no confidence in myself whatsoever. So it's actually helping me, you know, not only mentally, but I am getting that wee bit more confident now. So we will see how it goes. So if you can see, you can still see the sparkle on this canvas. I think that's coming across, but she's looking, I wasn't too sure about this bit. I don't know if you can see that here. This is her hand, her fingers, so I'm not too sure about this colour, but we'll see how it works out. there's mostly there's a load of colour blocking in this, kind of all this here, big chunks, all the one colour. And all over here, that's all the one colour. Now, the colours in her face, well, I'm not too sure of either, but we'll see it. Well, in the camera, her face actually looks better than her hand, but I'll trust the process and see how it turns out. But anyway, if you guys liked, if you could please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. I'd like to have you over my wee crafty corner. So you all take care, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.